What's up, you guys? It's your boy Miguel giving you your daily dose of radiation. In today's video, we're covering, is X-ray the best career / major for you? So to give you context, if you're new to the channel, my name is Miguel. I do X-rays at nighttime, graveyard shift, if you will. I work at a trauma 3 ER. So, and also day shift, so I have knowledge in day shift. So, if you're currently in college, if you're currently going to apply to this beautiful program of the X-rays or any field of the radiology, let me give you an insight, because you're like, Miguel, I want to be X-ray, but I want to be ultrasound, but I want to be a nurse, but like I want a PT, respiratory. There's all these beautiful options in the medical world if you don't want to be a doctor, but you want to still be in the medical world. So, my lady's a nurse. I have family who's an ultrasound tech. I have a family member who does physical therapy. So I have knowledge in various of all these aspects. So like when we go down to family parties and we all sit down and just talk about jobs and talk about whatever's going on, I'll let you know this. Out of everyone, the money, it will all kind of vary. It'll always be like they're all within the same range of, like, if you just stay like locally and you're not like at a trauma one or don't do mobile or traveling type gig, they're all about the same. The few things is like if you become an RN or a BSRN, of course you're gonna make more than just the average, like me, just an Xray tech, like the base average. Because my lady's a nurse, and I make more money than her simply because I work night shift. So for me to make as much as like a BSRN, a higher, like I would have to put in a lot of overtime at work. The same amount of money as a BSRN would be like if you went over to CAT scan. So it takes more education higher up the ranks. So just to put that out there. Ultrasound, once again, as far as radiology goes, they make a little bit more money. Same like CAT scan, maybe about the same because of what they have to do. As far as X-ray, like just in general, I would say that our responsibility as far as like actual patient care, if you just do mainly just X-rays, I mean, if it's majority of the time, we just do chest X-rays, at least where I work at. 30 seconds in and out, bread and butter, limited amount of patient care, easy in and out. Documentation, as far like it's not that complicated compared to like my lady who's a nurse, gets the rights, long things of everything they do. Me, CP, SOB, chest pain, shortness of breath times X days, fell, NBC, got hit, short, simple, sweet. The only time we have to truly document a little bit more is when it comes to doing fluoro work, and if the patient falls or we have an accident, then you start documenting a little bit more. But as far as that, like, we really don't do that much. Now, as far as the actual job goes, if you work in the daytime and if you work at somewhere that does fluoro, you will have to do the enema. Enema is essentially where you grab a tip, insert into the rectum, the butt, the booty hole, and you inject either air, contrast with the RPA or radiologist. That single-handedly, a bunch of people don't want to do that. So, like, that's a big thing. That blood, you will see blood in X-ray. Simply because of NBCs, because whatever's going on, you will see some wild stuff that will be part, and you will have to be maneuvering, touching, getting involved, all that stuff. Especially sometimes their hands will come in all messed up, and like you will have to get involved with the blood, urine, and all that stuff. Not as much as the nurses, but sometimes the patient is there, and you have to get a job, and you just gotta do what you gotta do. So there is that aspect of it that some people don't like. If you don't want to do fluoroscopy like I do, I don't like none of that fluoro work. That's why I joined the night. In the lower level traumas, you do not have to do fluoroscopy. There's a tiny, like the Germex 99.1 0.1% chance that when you go, you may have to do fluoroscopy. So you don't completely cut out of it. It's just like a tiny chance that it can happen. In my 4 years, I've done only one esophagram. I don't know if that's good or bad, but like as far as fluoro work, that's all I've done. And it wasn't too bad because I already knew what fluoroscopy and like what some of the fluoro they did there because I went as student. I went there. So, but anyways, so if you do night times, you'll just mainly do X-rays. If you're in the lower level traumas, like trauma 3 where I am at, and 4 don't really do fluoroscopy overnight. Now, if you do dabble in fluoro for night, you would probably be in a trauma 2 where they have rads overnight. And trauma 1s, you will probably be expected to do fluoroscopy in those locations, simply because that's where all the trauma 1, the like Grey's Anatomy, running and gunning, people coming in crazy, those are, you will make more money, but you will be very stressed all the time. I will say, as far as stress levels, I have very low stress levels. Occasionally we'll get like a trauma 1 in our place and I won't even stress me out. It'll just get me hype and excited to be like, okay, here's a chance for you to show your X-ray skills. And I will say, ain't nothing better than being in a trauma situation and you get a chest X-ray on your first shot. Because sometimes all you get is one shot. Because like the patient got like all the nurses and everyone's involved. Because of the radiation, you got to keep people safe, and there's a lot of stuff, but ain't nothing more beautiful than that. And if you dabble in X-ray one day, you'll understand. Ain't nothing beautiful than that. And then occasionally getting the textbook perfect X-ray, that's nice too. But as far as like levels of where you can get employed, there's a lot of places you can get employed as X-rays. Now, as far as like good spots, that will be a little bit different as far as like schedules and all that, depending on where you work. Let's say you work in the emergency room like I do. I work 7 on, 7 off. There is various different schedules, which I have videos here that explains it very in detail of what other schedules you can work. You can work like at an urgent care, but if you work in the urgent care, you'll have to do AMA and blood work and a bunch of other stuff. They have another video where you can watch it. That's just a brief. It's not just X-ray over there. You can work in an orthopedic where mainly you do extremities, some C-arm because of surgery and other stuff like that. Surgery is a whole nother little world with the C-arm and the fluoro work. A lot of radiation over there. Very picky, certain surgeons or orthopedic doctors love them orthopedic. Not my boat, but some people love it. You have, let's see what else we have. If you work like in the emergency room during the daytime, usually you stay in the ER, shoot basic chest X-rays, whatever's going on, and you dabble up to the floor with the mobile X-ray. At nighttime, usually we just do everything mobile because it's quicker, because you have less staffing involved. There's a total of, I want to say 15 full-time X-rays, and then PRNs like about 6 or 7. And then nighttime, there's only 2 of us. So it's 2 on my swing, 2 on the opposite swing. So you could see how to get certain niche jobs, you would have to maybe be a PRN. If it opens, you may dabble in. I got lucky. My position was open. I recommend working night shift to anyone who has kids, especially with your partner works days and you work nights. You will have the ultimate coverage as far as if your kids get sick. I mean, it comes with a price. You will have to probably stay up and give up sleep, but it does cover. That has helped us so many times because ain't nothing more frustrating than having to call off work constantly with your significant other if you have kids. So that is a big plus like that, because majority of the times, the daytime, the daycare's the school, they'll be like, you can't have your kids there because he's sick. Now, as far as like work-life balance, I say if you work nights, you can have a little bit more of a work-life balance because like mine is 7 on, 7 off. So technically on the 7 off, I can do a lot of stuff that I need to be done. It's more like 5 off because the first day you're like sleeping in the first day going back to work. You're probably sleeping too. So it's mainly like five good days. Now, if you do like the Monday through Friday, you will have on call in the emergency room. You have call. So that's something else if you don't like call. If you work at a hospital, you will have to do call. It's ours is 2 days a week, which ours can fall during the week because my 7 on, 7 off. Since I work on every opposite weekend, I don't have to work on the weekends. Some of the Monday through Friday gigs, they will have to work on the weekends. There's that. Now, if you're curious about like the pay difference between days and nights, it can like vary. Like I think ours is like a $3 difference, which in context, I think if I've only worked days versus I only work nights, like it was like a $500 difference. Like it's a good chunk of change difference if you're willing to do that. If that works for you. Overall, I would recommend doing it. There's been so many times where me and my lady, who's a nurse, will sit and talk about our job. She's stressed all the time, and even when she leaves work, she's constantly stressing about the next day. Me, as soon as I leave, I'm done. I don't got to worry about nothing. The only thing maybe I have to worry about is like if something breaks down, I'm like, oh, I don't have the good portable. Oh, there's going to be nighttime. You deal with a lot of updates of the system and the network, so you'll have to do a bunch of like manually inputting stuff. That's the only downside to working nights. You'll have to do all of those upgrades and stuff like that where the system goes down. You do dabble in that, but like stress wise, nah, I'm really never stressed about like doing the job and all that. Now, for the lady, though, like, they are liable for way more. Like, I would say, like, triple, quadruple more liable for the nursing compared to I am. Like, I mean, the only thing that I have responsibility, and it could get kind of dangerous, is because we do work with radiation. At the end of the day, even if you wear lead, even if you're 6 feet, you are slowly, tiny, itty bitty peedy, getting radiation. There's radiation. You're slowly getting radiation all the time. So that's something you will have to deal with. I mean, we wear little monitors to keep us safe, but that is something that certain people like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. But majority of the times we keep pretty safe, and there's that aspect to it. If you do dabble in the night shift, the little caffeine, the little bev, stay drinking. Especially if you've never worked night shift. Try not to eat carbs, a lot of carbs, because at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., if you ain't used to it and it starts to slow down, you're going to crash. So that's kind of a basic insight if you want to do x-rays. I do very niche topics on everything fluoroscopy, anything x-ray. I feel like it's my duty to educate the masses for those who wish to know, because if you go on the YouTubes, on the internet, there's ungodly amount of videos of nurses, of doctors, of all these other but x-ray, it is very, very niche amount. So I highly recommend this to anyone who wants to get into the basic realm. I mean, from what I've seen, the pay can go from like $50,000 all the way to like $150,000, depending on like where you work and stuff. And traveling, it could unlock $60-$80 an hour. You can make them oil field checks, especially if there's a lot of overtime. I've gotten to the point where I've worked 7 on and then 7 on again. So I ran like 3 weeks straight of nothing but night shift. And it was, it was very tiresome by the end, but that check was, I ain't never seen a check that big in my life. So always, been your boy Miguel. See you on the next one.